Z-432 codename Limited Time Imaginary Friend is a toy remote consisting of a button that, when pushed, summons a horrid creature at a fixed 40-stud distance from the individual that is always visible regardless of obstructions. With its first recorded appearance being in early 2020, Z-432 first appeared on sale in convenience stores in New York. Designed by Funblocks, it was advertised as an anti-loneliness tool, promising to rid the buyer of loneliness. As usual, the return address of every package leads to an empty shack in the middle of nowhere. After many reports of people seeing a horrific red creature after using the product, Urban Shade agents were eventually called to investigate and eventually found and used a Z-432 instance. All other Z-433 instances were quickly confiscated and brought to the black site for containment and study. Later, a fake news story had been published, labeling the events that had taken place as mass hysteria. No executions were done, as anyone who had used a Z-432 would simply be chalked up as an attention seeker who had been fabricating stories for publicity. When Z-432 is used, a voice will emit from the remote congratulating the user for using the product and requests they enjoy the next 2 days with their new very own, real, not-so-imaginary friend. Shortly afterwards, a grotesque creature, hereby referred to as Z-432-1, will appear 40 studs away from the user. Each individual Z-432-1 is invisible to others, even if they had also activated a Z-432 instance. Despite appearances, Z-432-1 will not attack individuals who have used a Z-432 instance. Z-432-1 is harmless and will simply follow the individual from a distance. Z-432-1 is always visible regardless of obstructions, so even if an individual who has used a Z-432 instance walks up to a wall, Z-432-1 will phase through it as if it weren't there. Z-432-1 will sometimes communicate with the affected individual, but the things it says are most of the time nonsensical. Z-432-1 will not respond to the user if they try to talk to it, and will sometimes cut the user off mid-sentences. The voice from the remote and the creature itself has been deemed to be the same. After 48 hours, Z-432-1 will demanifest until Z-432 is pushed again. Several employees have requested Z-432 instances for themselves. Seeing as Z-432-1 serves no physical threat, these requests have since been approved. In the workspace, Z-432 is most commonly used to prank new employees, by those who find the anomaly fascinating, and by those who are lonely and simply appreciate the company of an otherworldly creature. Z-432 has been deemed of no monetary value, and the remotes are instead being sold at the anomalous auction.